Hello everyone, this is Alien Reddit Stories, where I tell alien stories off of Reddit. I'm going to preface by saying I'm former military. I've been stationed next to air stations. I'm familiar with the types of aircraft the military flies and generally how and where, and especially how much noise anything that flies using internal combustion makes. I've experienced sleep paralysis once. I closed my eyes, went back to sleep, and woke up fine. I don't feel like an alien. I don't feel like I've been abducted or had anything implanted in me. My dreams are remembered very infrequently, and I can't remember being probed or abducted in any of them. Location: Northeast Ohio, Cuyahoga Valley National Parks. The date is the only thing I'm uncertain of. Last summer, swimming weather, clear night. My friend and I have a secret place to swim not far from a fire pit. We go camping here frequently. We hike the hills even more frequently. Walking back from the water still dripping, I could probably find the same patch of hard earth where grass doesn't grow that I felt under my bare feet right before this happened. My friend reaches his arm over and taps my arm and says, "What the F?" And he's already looking at what I'm already looking at. I hardly glanced at him, but I could tell his eyes were locked onto this thing. 2. We're currently in a clearing with pool on one end and fire pit on the other. The clearing is a few football fields in both directions. We're about halfway across. Eyes locked upwards on this thing. Hair now standing on the back of my neck. Unable to close my mouth. The object goes almost directly over us, possibly slightly over our right shoulders to the south. Its speed I would describe as slow for a flying object. I've never seen a single prop go this slow except when landing. This thing was not landing. In fact, it didn't appear to alter its roll, pitch, or yaw. It stayed at a locked altitude of a few hundred feet from the earth and flew perfectly straight. Now, what was this thing? It wasn't a typical ball of light, but you could see it. It had somewhat of a faint glow. It was a large, for a size comparison, I'd say its radius was about half of a commercial airliner's wingspan. Perfectly spherical object, with its primary color being a light green. It had some iridescence to it. We could see its edges against the night sky, clearly defined, no blurring. The worst part was there's no trailing lights behind this thing, and it didn't make one single sound. This thing glided onwards towards the horizon and simply left our field of vision. Shortly after, the silent air thing disappeared. Every single coyote in the entire valley started to howl. The howling went on and on, the longest, loudest, and most dogs I've ever heard going at once. We sat fireside for a long time, discounted things like cosmic rocks tearing throughout the atmosphere, or any sort of man-made aircraft either of us could imagine. Yeah, I would have been out of there as soon as literally they started howling. Story number 2. My story happened in 1996. My ex-husband and I were driving from Madison to Stevens Point, Wisconsin. It was dusk and we saw 2 round bright lights in the sky and weren't quite sure what we were seeing. As the sky continued to get darker, we just kept keeping an interested eye on it. Both lights appeared to be the same aircraft. They were not moving independently of each other. We started to notice that other cars were pulled over on the sides of the highway that appeared to be looking at the same lights. We didn't pull over, but we kept watching it. Shortly after full dark, the 2 bright lights abruptly went off, and then 2 smaller ones lit up in a circular motion parallel to the ground. They went around twice and then went completely off. We both shouted, "What the F?" and "Holy ish," and just kind of sat in stunned silence for a while. We don't talk that much anymore, but once in a while it comes up. When our son was about 13, he said to me, "Dad says you guys saw a UFO one time." Story number 3. I have a crazy UFO story. Actually, multiple that unraveled one by one. But I will start with the first and give it to you in a nutshell, although the details of the story do play an intricate part in these events. Okay, first, let me say that I had, up until that point, never seen or thought of UFOs nor anything paranormal. I, through a crazy series of events, found myself for the first time thinking about UFOs and the possibilities of other galactic beings/energy. I had met a man one week after my interest in subjects began. We were taking a trip on the coast together in Oregon. On the way, I was describing all the events that had occurred from what seemed beyond chance and how they led me up to the point that thinking and researching UFOs. I said aloud, "I have never seen a UFO nor anything paranormal, but I want to know the truth. I want to see something that is beyond this reality and have assurances in what I witness. Less than 15 minutes later, we arrived at our destination, a coastline on a hillside that overlooked the ocean. As I opened the door to his vehicle, I noticed right away how quiet of a night it was, with a clear cloud-free sky, and how bright the stars were. Within a few seconds, I saw a large, bright light moving across the sky from the upper left into the middle of my view. It is too slow to be a shooting star, and way too big to be, and bright and fast to be a satellite. My friend in the car had not yet seen it. I exclaimed, "Wow! That is a really low-flying plane." I said this because it was so bright it looked like a street light above me. Then I realized and said aloud, "It doesn't have any runner lights." Then I realized that it was making no sound. I exclaimed in wondrousness, "Oh my God, it's a UFO!" Just as my friend was about to see it, a few seconds later, as I arrived into the center of my view, it faded away. He chuckled in irony, then told me that he was with a friend at the same location that previous weekend. His friend said the same thing in the car ride, then witnessed the same UFO thing. Since then, I have seen several UFOs. After telling the story exactly to someone within 5 minutes in front of others completely sober. Crazy, huh? Totally true. No, I don't think that's crazy. I'm noticing there is a plethora, a gargantuan amount of UFOs, UFO sightings, unexplained objects, chance encounters with beings that can't feel or see. Some you can see, some are tiny, some cure cancer. I am 31 videos into this channel right now. It seems endless. It's an unending amount of stories. And then there's my story. Well, I don't want to get into that for my own reason. Maybe one day. I believe you, buddy. I believe you all. I really, truly do. Anyway, you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's gonna hurt you. Little button. Go ahead and move your finger. Take it. Take your mouse. You don't got a mouse? Just use that little ball thing or the square thing on your laptop. Swivel it to that little corner there. You see that little... Yeah, that one right there. Click on it. And hit subscribe. Maybe hit the bell. Maybe hit the like button. Or don't do any of the above. Okay, it's really not that serious. But I am glad that you joined me for this story. And hopefully, wink wink, you did do exactly what I said. And I'll see you guys next time on Alien Reddit Story.